Hi, and welcome to Transformation Now. And I mean now, as we start working on new programs for your life, your personal and professional life and career. And so my name is Rita Rocker Kraft, and I'm a speaker, author, and trainer with Soaring Higher Rocks. And so today I'm going to continue with a program from my book called Shaping Your Future, Becoming the Brand Everyone Wants. Because as it says here, the one who has the most power to change your life is the one looking into the mirror, which of course is you. And so I'm sharing information with you from the leadership guide that goes along with this book for colleges and bookstores. And I just really want this to be something that will help impact your life in a really positive way. So today I'm going to continue on from the program that started last week. And it's like self-assessment and where are you now and where do you want to be? And so when I left off, the last thing that I commented about was how long have I allowed myself to feel down or defeated instead of victorious and smart and strong and going forward? How long have I allowed it? And like I mentioned last time, we allow or don't allow things that people have said or done to affect our lives. I let a lot of things affect my life when I was younger. A lot of people do, and they hear horrible things or they're treated, not a good way. And so they think, well, I'm unworthy, I'm no good, I'm not smart, I'll never amount to anything. I'm not as athletic as my brother, as smart as my sister, etc. And that sticks. And then I see other people who grew up maybe homeless a lot of times in cases, or was missing their arms or limbs or blind or something like that. And it's like, no, I'm not letting these things or anything that anyone has said or done to me to affect who I am. I'm a child of God. I'm made in His image. So, hey, what more could I ask for? And so I want you to think of it that way as you go forward in this. And think, don't allow, because we do, certain things to take root and affect the rest of our lives. Because nobody has the right to determine your future, your value, and your worth. Nobody does. And so then, ask yourself, and again, I talked last time about get away from the phone, get away from the computer, and all of that. Take a notebook that you're going to be keeping, a journal, and a pen, and you sit quietly and you think about these things and you write them down in your notebook away from any electronics or anything like that. That's when you can really dig deep into yourself and think. Thoughts will come to you and experiences will come to you, and that really helps you to move forward and build from there. Okay, so how do I speak to myself? And how do I allow others to treat me? Again, it's allowed. So we talked about it last time. How do I speak to myself? I've said things before to myself that were pretty bad, and I can't even say them. And then I felt like God was saying, who are you calling that? You're made in my image. You're my child. How could you call yourself that? And I'm going, oh, I'm so sorry. Because that is so true. And so how do I allow myself to see myself? And so you need to see yourself as a precious gift, a child of God, and you're strong, and you're bold, and you're smart, and you're very valuable in this world. How to allow myself to be treated badly, only with respect. We have to command respect, and I don't mean haughty-taughty stuff, but I mean we have to command respect as far as who we are. No matter what kind of job you have, what kind of clothes you have, car you drive, house you live in, we have to learn to really respect ourselves and demand that respect from other people. So when they don't treat us that way, they belittle us, and that happens a lot at work too. It's like, nope, not taking that. I am going to be treated respectfully because that's what I deserve. So write down what makes you feel confident and powerful. Now, everybody, I would think, if they had praise for a good job done, would feel more confident, more powerful. But so many times, it's like we have to hear something over and over and over. I think it was like 20 times we have to hear positive to cancel out one negative. And so think about that. How do I feel? Do I feel confident and powerful? What makes me feel that way? Okay, is it praise from other people? Is it good test scores on your test, aptitude test, like in school? My first year in third grade, I was in the 97th percentile nationwide, and I was like surprised. I was like, oh, I didn't think I had any brains that much. But so it could be, you got great test scores. Is it social media, the amount of friends you have? And there again, you got to be careful with social media, because some people think, oh, I've got all these friends, and well, do you really? And so a lot of times we have to be really careful with social media, what people are saying and what we're doing. And I've seen so many times, because I teach people also on career development and getting a new job and all of that, that I've seen over and over again, somebody has the opportunity to get a really great job, one they really wanted and they worked hard to get. However, human resources or the department manager, both, go into it could be Facebook, it could be TikTok, I don't go on that one, Twitter, whatever. But they're going, Instagram, Snapchat, and all these things that are out nowadays, and they go, oh my gosh. Like one lady had a beer bottle stuck in her shirt, and in a very, not so good way. The people that maybe look drunk, or people that are always bashing people, whether they're government people or other people in school, things like that. And then the human resources manager or the department manager is going, whoa, we don't want anybody like that working for us. And I've seen that over and over again, that somebody thinks, oh, well, I have the education, I have the experience and all this, but when they find out what kind of personality they have and what they're actually like and how they would be in the office, like maybe making snide remarks or being very uppity and conceited or whatever, they go, nope, I don't want this person in my business representing my company. And so always think about that, how you allow other people to treat you, and then what makes you confident and powerful. Think about that, because the things that do make you confident and powerful are the ones you want to stick with, stay with, associate with. But then be careful. What makes you feel weak and ineffective? Is it words? Is it past experiences? Is it where you live right now? That could be ridicule. If people are used to being ridiculed a lot, they can conquer it, or they can let it keep them down, which often happens. Is it the education they have compared to the education of others? That has affected me as well. But I'll tell you what, I've known some ladies who started like human resources companies, staffing firms and stuff, that were literally went into the millions, no college whatsoever. And so don't always think that it's at least a bachelor's or master's or whatever you have to do. Yes, there are a lot of jobs where that's required, but then a lot of times people have the experience or they have the attitude that the company really needs. And I've read where there's research saying, if there's two people applying for a job and one of them has a lot less actual work experience or education, but they have the most motivated attitude, team player, you can tell, they would go in there and they would dive in and they would do everything they could to benefit the company, they will be hired over the one who maybe has a lot more education and a lot more work experience, but their attitude is kind of like, oh, look at me, and they're not a good fit. And when I used to place people in jobs, it was not only just their education and their work experience that I was looking for personally. I wanted to know, what's the culture of the company? And what's the culture that this person is comfortable in? Do they fit? Because sometimes they may have everything going for them, but the cultures, one likes to be more gregarious, they like to dress fun and, maybe a little flashy. They're very sociable, very people-oriented. And then the place that maybe has a job that they'd be interested in, though, is very straight-laced, very, stoic. And it's like, no, this isn't going to go. They won't like each other. They won't feel comfortable with each other. I've been in those situations, and it's not a comfortable place. So always think of culture, too. Where would you fit? And that's important, but you always want to fit into something that's upward mobile, that is positive, that is career growth oriented. That's really, really important. So think about those things. What makes you feel confident and makes you feel weak and ineffective, for instance, because there's a big difference. You know, as Eleanor Roosevelt, former first lady from a long time ago, said, no one can make you feel inferior without your permission. And I love that saying. No one can make you feel inferior without your permission. And so, again, we get into that battle for self-worth and know that we're strong and we're good and we're intelligent people. Old ways of doing things will never open a new door. You know, people say a good definition of insanity is doing the same thing you've always done, expecting a different outcome. No, probably not going to happen unless you just happen to get lucky. And so remember that if you always do what you've always done, you will get what you've always had. So always think about that as well. And there we have to kind of hit a reset button on what we're going to do and what we're going to avoid from here on out. So then in the book, it talks a little bit about Back to the Future. Loved those old movies. They were so fun. They had a lot of good morals to the story in them. And closing our eyes and creating a lot of times. And that, again, is sitting quietly with your notebook and your pen, closing your eyes and creating not what you think you can do, but what you truly want to do. That's when you take all limitations off of yourself, take away, you know, how you feel, how others feel, everything, and just create in your mind what you want. See yourself actually happily married. See yourself as having a successful business. See yourself on the field, doing a great job in baseball or soccer or whatever the case may be. See your paintings, artwork, you know, in places where people can enjoy them. So you picture that, not where you are, but take all the limitations off and go, well, I can never do that. No, this isn't your time to go, well, how can I do that? No, you just see yourself doing it. That's it. Because then the steps that you take when you're going forward are going to be like, oh, no, I don't want to do this. I want to go do this. And so it becomes so second nature that it stops you from doing things that maybe you've always been used to, because you really want to go over here and you start meeting new people and you do things because you've seen it in your mind already. So start at the end of your life and create your plan in reverse. I know a lot of times people say that. What's your ultimate goal? Now, this is something I haven't really quite done the way people have talked about it, but it does work for a lot of people. Like just your goal sheet. You know, people talk about vision boards of things that you want to do, where you want to be. But, you know, they'll have a goal at the top. And this has to be a reasonable goal at a reasonable date. For someone, for instance, who wanted to lose a lot of weight, if they have large bone structure, they can't make an unreasonable goal of being this little skinny mini, you know. So we have to be reasonable in what we're trying to do as well. But in your wildest dreams, if it could be achieved, what is it? And you put a date at the top that's kind of an estimated date. Again, has to be realistic, you know, because we have to build step by step to get there. And, you know, I remember once reading about a doctor, a successful medical doctor. He didn't like it. He didn't want to do it anymore. So what did he want? He actually wanted to be a silversmith in a great little town in the mountains. Well, guess what? He eventually quit his job as a doctor and went to the mountains, and was a silversmith, and he was just happy as could be because that's where his mind was. That's what he wanted to do. You know, I've seen stories where people 65, and I think I saw when she was 80 or 85, actually parachuted out of a plane on their birthday. There was an 85-year-old lady that actually, I think it was within this past year, actually got her bachelor's degree. And my first thought is, well, what is she going to do with it? That was her dream. That was her goal, and she accomplished it. Just like the man, Mr. Miyagi, who was put in a Japanese internment camp that I mentioned before back in World War II. 42 years later, he actually walked across the stage, which with the graduating class of that year, 1976 or something like that, with his high school diploma. He never gave up on that from World War II till then, and he was able to walk across there and get his diploma. And I thought, good job, good for you, buddy. You did it. You never let go of that dream, no matter what. And so a lot of people then will put pictures on the ladder of success of things that they want to do. Could be that you're speaking in front of a group. It could be a new home. Could be a new career, a completely new career. I've seen that over and over again. Well, somebody has just completely dumped the career they have because it wasn't what they wanted in the first place. It was what a parent wanted, or maybe what a school counselor said they should do. And so think about those things. But put those pictures up there that you're a happy, determined person. And you could find a lot of pictures. Just look online, grab some old magazines, and you'll see people doing what you want to do. And make those, and then think of steps. How do I get to this step? Well, I need to take some classes. I'll just have to take online classes, or I'll enroll in a few classes. Or I really need to work on my presence, my speech. Maybe have one or two friends say, hey, whoa, watch it, you're saying all the time, or all the time. And having people constructively help you think about appearance, think about manner. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go online and I'm going to learn about manners. Manners are critical, especially in higher end positions. Everything from shaking a hand, saying hello, how you eat, things like that. I have a whole class on that. And so think about those things that you can do and learn. Another step, another step, another step. And many of those won't cost anything at all to do. So, changes and additions in relationships is another one. So always think about those. First step then is to create your ultimate page goal page. And you want to take time and write out in great detail how you want to look and feel. How do I want to look physically? Not only your outer appearance, which maybe you want a new hairstyle, you want to change your wardrobe, that kind of thing. But physically, how do you stand? How do you project yourself? Are your shoulders rolled back? Do you have a nice smile on your face? Are your hands open, receiving people in? What are you doing physically that will either push people away or welcome them in? So think about those things with your body. And then think about mentally. Oh boy, got to work on this, be mentally strong. You hear stories of people who were in POW camps, and there's a lot of stuff I'm hearing now I won't go into about what's happening to a lot of people, especially young ones. But they can mentally change through the effort to go forward again and lead a normal, happy life. Emotionally, how do I want to be emotionally? Okay, we don't want to be angry, we don't want to be disappointed, we don't want to be upset all the time, offended at everything. No, we let negative things go in here and out that way. And so think about how you want to be physically, mentally, and emotionally, what you want your bank account to be, and how you intend to use it. I always encourage people, and I have a giving heart whether I have it or not, but I encourage people, when you get rewards, when you get benefits, when you get good finances coming in, to have a heart to share a little bit of that with others who are needy, because boy, does that make you feel good. And I do believe that as you sow good seed into other people's lives, it will come back to you many times over. What kind of family and social life do you truly want? And there again, as I've said a million times, you have to think, is this person holding me back? Are they pushing me down? Or are they always angry? Am I walking on eggshells? Is this person really building me up? They have my back. They're always there for me. Okay, kind of determine what's beneficial there and what needs to go. And so I talk about that sometimes, what's in your boat? Is it good things or not so good things? And then there's positive characteristics that we talk about and that people discuss. List the attributes that you have now. And I know even when I tried to do that before, it's like, what attributes? And I've run into so many people that, I don't have any attributes. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Maybe you have a very analytical mind. You got to analyze everything and figure it out. That's a great asset. Sometimes we don't figure out, well, gee, why am I always having to figure out everything and, assess it over a million times? Well, we can go too far with that, but an analytical mind is very beneficial to make right decisions, as long as we don't push it too far. There's they call it the paralysis of analysis, so we don't want to get that far. But maybe you're very social. You love being around people. You're very social. And so that's an excellent characteristic, because there are so many jobs out there, so many careers where you're around people all the time. And you're so social that you make them feel good. And that's awesome. Confident. So you're very confident. So you can be in a business where maybe you need that confidence because it's, it could be, it could be coaching, it could be social services, it could be something where you need to be confident and share some of that, shed it on other people, but also be able to take a lot of guff that some people might give you. And you can do that because you're confident enough to handle it. Resilience. You get back up. When I was Mrs. Nebraska and returned from the Mrs. America pageant, before that, my husband died during my term. And my whole life was just a mess. And financially, in addition to all the emotions and the hardships and everything. And when I spoke to a group of, it was over 100 women at a retreat, like 4 weeks later after he passed away, these two ladies came up to me afterwards, and I was still the current Mrs. Nebraska doing what I could. And they said, wow, your message wasn't at all what we were expecting. And I said, well, what were you expecting? Well, we thought you were going to talk about the pageant and all the things that you do. And I said, no. I said, I've been called to help people who've been knocked down, get up, dust their knees off, and get back in the race and go again and again and again. That's resiliency. You need to be resilient, especially in this world right now. Get back up, get in the race. Nobody's stopping you. Creative mindset. You can maybe think of really creative children's games. You can think of creative ways to market something. You can think of creative ways to do new cooking, new baking, new something fun. And so you may have a very creative mindset. Write that down. List records, record the traits necessary to exchange. And there again, it could be time wasting. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired when I get home. I like to just sit and watch TV until I go to bed with my TV dinner. Okay. Might be that you have to time block, like from 7 to 8 or whatever time. I'm going to study. I'm going to sit on the computer and look, not cruise, but look up classes, get on Zoom calls and things like that. So sometimes one of the best things that you can do to exchange areas in your life is just to write them down. I need time block and do schedules. I need good time management. I need to stop eating ice cream and drinking a Coke and everything in the evening because I'm really struggling with low energy, my weight, can't fit into my clothes. Those are really things, and I've had to deal with those too. So think about traits that you want to change. Another would be add a desired completion date to the top of this. Thinking, okay, well, maybe it'll take me about 4 weeks before I can really change some of my habits and diet and exercise. I'll just keep pushing myself, and if I mess up, okay, next day I just get right back at it again. Resiliency. All right, so think about that. Enter a date as realistically as you can of when you want to complete the steps that you want to take and that you need. And so where you want your life to be, I will cover that a lot more in the next program. But in the meantime, think about the things that you do want to change: health, diet, finances, career, neighborhood. Think about those things, and you'll see ways to work around a lot of those as you sit quietly and you start getting ideas that will come to your mind. And friends, family, there's so many things that will affect our lives in a good way or a not so good way. But you have the power to change. Like in Alice in Wonderland, when Alice said, oh, I can't do this, whatever it was, and the Queen said, yes, you can. I think it's 6 impossible things to do before breakfast. And so think about things that appear impossible to you right now, but they really aren't. And start looking up testimonies and stories about people who have gone through devastating things. And man, they're out there and they're making a difference in this world and building up their lives and enjoying them because they were not going to let anything keep them down. They were resilient, got up, dusted their knees off, got back in the race. You can too. So I thank you so much. We will continue on this next time. So have a blessed week. God bless you. Bye.